Search NFL today.
Upgrade to TuneIn Premium and get over 45 commercial-free music stations. You'll also get live commercial-free news, plus live play-by-play games from NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL. Visit TuneIn.com/premium to upgrade.
Some days life can get in the way of catching up on the news that moves your world. TuneIn is here to help. With live 24/7 coverage from CNN wherever you go on the TuneIn app, you can always find a slice of your schedule, however long, to check in on the biggest stories of the day.
Hell hath no fury. The president's counselor went on a rampage on a taped phone call with Washington Examiner reporter.
Search CNN on TuneIn to get the live news when it matters most.
You're watching CNBC Squawk on the Street, live from the financial capital of the world. The opening bell in just under 5 minutes. Got our hands full this morning, even though there's not a lot of trade news. Retail's heating up, and we're watching, obviously, the president filling out a bit about his meeting with Powell yesterday. Other big stories about vaping. California and Los Angeles County are suing Juul, alleging the vaping brand targeted young people through advertising and failed to give warnings about the health risks. In about 30 minutes, we are expecting an announcement on vaping from the AG of New York. If we get details on that, we will let you know. But, Jim, just one more incremental piece of bad news for Juul, and then, by extension, MO.
Right. But, look, the quiet nature of the FDA, the reversal by the president, which is seemingly political, the location of where the leader of the Senate lives, or where his district is all adding up to, I think, a real advantage for Altria and Juul. These states, as much as they sound like they matter, no. I mean, this is going to have to be federally regulated because it's from the online. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to try to shut down online? It's from a lot of companies that are not easily regulated. That's what Juul will tell you, which is that, look, at least we're regulated. So without federal legislation, without federal appeal from the president, all these things are just, let's just say, much ado about nothing. These states can do whatever they want. It's a federal problem, not a state problem.
Yeah, although reports yesterday indicated the president backing off a bit of his intention to ban flavors across the board.
Backing off completely, from what I understand, Jim. I mean, apparently he decided, this is a reporting from other sources, obviously, that it could result in a loss of jobs in states that are important to his potential reelection efforts, and so he abandoned that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the election beckons. I think that people know that it was mint, that people liked. I've never used Juul myself, but the cohort that I think does Juul, and my wife is on the board of the, let's just say, the social committee at Bucknell. It's endemic. People just smoke, and they love mint. It's too attractive. Now, David, I don't think you get up and say, listen, I can't wait to do some mint vaping. But as someone who's a parent, you know that mint vaping is just too popular. You don't want your kids to mint vape. This is a kind of a, you remember we used to talk about marijuana as a gateway drug to heroin? Well, isn't vaping a gateway drug to everything that's bad?
I don't know. I don't believe marijuana is a gateway drug to heroin. Do you?
No, but I do think vaping is a gateway drug to, hey, I don't know, maybe lung cancer? I mean, I see the things that Bristol Myers doing against lung cancer, and Merck. It's a foot race between vaping, killing people, and those companies saving people. But then again, David, the First Amendment allows all sorts of bad things.
Conversations we didn't think we'd have right before the opening bell.
Well, I mean, I'm not pro-lung cancer. It's an odd position. I would never take it myself. I'm more in the Keytruda camp, the Opdivo camp, the Keytruda being the great drug for Merck. But you know what? Mint vaping, wow, now there's something to stand for. I'm pro-mint vaping. Does anyone, I don't know. I'm a little astounded. The pro-cancer camp does win periodically, guys.
We would be better off where there are no vaping, no smoking. Clearly, no doubt about that.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's just great, David. David, are you saying that people don't have a right to get lung cancer? Are you saying that? Are you taking that anti-First Amendment position?
No, I'm not.
Good. That's why that's all I care about. Right. David, it's a free country. It's a free country. Well, and if you want cancer, you have every right to get cancer. It's just, it does cost the system.
It does. It does. Well, your rates are higher. Certainly they are for our employer. You got to check that box.
For all of us. David, Jewel has to have earnings. David, do not do this, Jewel. It's a unicorn.
Less every day.
Have some sympathy.
Less of a unicorn every day.
Get to the opening bell here in the S&P 500 at the bottom of your screen. At the big board today, it's Digital Realty Trust, operator of data centers, celebrating its 15th listing anniversary over at the NASDAQ for Texime, a biopharma focused on the treatment of Alzheimer's and other degenerative diseases. Jim, we haven't touched on the housing numbers we got today. Permits up 5 is going to be the highest print since May of 2007. As we're starting to see some of the benefits, I guess, of low rates.
Right, and that's what makes it so hard to be able to punt on the Home Depot right here. Home Depot talking about a lot of what I regard as some miscues, but they also talked about tariffs. They're worried about tariffs. This is the first time that people can really point to maybe tariffs had something to do with a miss. There's so many different reasons why Home Depot missed, and yet there they are affirming guidance. So I think you affirm guidance if you believe that the housing starts numbers end up leading you to a maybe a beat someday. This is not the Home Depot I know. It's starting to bum me out.
The other name that we, of course, were watching from the very beginning of the show was Kohl's. Guys, on the conference call that began at 9 a.m., the company is talking a lot about a heightened promotional environment. And that does appear to be where the pressure is on earnings and why their guidance has come in for the year in terms of what they're pointing to for annual earnings per diluted share. Jim, they're talking about, again, a heightened promotional environment and gross margins now expected to be down 60 to 65 basis points for the year, reflecting their year-to-date performance, their outlook for the fourth quarter. And they also talked about what was particularly a lot of competition apparently in women's fashion. And an underperformance in their women's business impacted their gross margin, an unfavorable mix, and again, this competitive environment in terms of pricing.
This isn't the first time that they've cited women's. When I went to visit them, they were very pro on their women's fashion and the initiatives they have. My Travel Trust maintained a small position in hoping that the Amazon deal would do something. What I want to say, it's become quite quizzical. I mean, how come this stock reports, they report a bad quarter, and then the company gets it, and then the stock goes up again on belief that this will be the quarter that they get it right. At a certain point, David, I know Michelle Goss hasn't been in there that long. I'm beginning to question what the heck is she doing? Or is it the model broken, a la when people think about Macy's, what people think about Nordstrom? David, brick and mortar, in the end, unless you have a fantastic online and offline, the online being how great Walmart is, I think you start saying existential. Why do we need to go to Kohl's? Does anyone know?
It's still profitable. I don't go to Kohl's, but I don't go anywhere. So I can't say. But I mean, it's still a profitable company, Jim.
No, yeah. I have Kohl's cash, and they are starting to close some of the bad stores. The problem is this: how can you be so wrong about everything? How can you be wrong about the promotional environment? How can you be wrong about the women's clothes that you have? How can you be so wrong about how Amazon is going to start helping? And the answer is, I don't know. Let's get someone else. Look,
1,159 Kohl's stores at the end of the quarter. 98 million square feet. Selling footage was 82 million square feet.
There are too many stores. Even as recently as a year and a half ago, they told me that the great thing is that they didn't have to close any stores, or all the stores were in the right place. Let's see what Target has to say. I wonder whether Target isn't taking business. I am disappointed with Kohl's. I really and truly felt that this was the quarter that you would start seeing that maybe the spend was related to Amazon. Promotional is a curse word. It's a curse word.
All right, well, they're being aggressive into October, into the holiday season, in terms of offering pricing that they think is going to bring people in and get them to buy things. Is this heightened promotional environment, Jim, something that we can just expect will continue for good?
I think the fault, David, is not in the promotional stars. I think this fault might be in themselves. Just a week ago, we had a number from Walmart that was stunning. They weren't talking about promotion, not one bit. They were talking about how great things are. Who do you want to believe, David? Do you want to believe the company that has 275 million people going through the stores? Or do you want to believe a company that doesn't have a very good online strategy, that has this Amazon deal, but in the end, you go in, David, it's Nike, okay? It's tired. It's gold toe socks. It's these women things that you can get anywhere. David, it's not fun. It's not experiential. It's depressing.
No, but if they're investing in pricing, it might mean there's some good deals. You always like a good deal.
Well, I like Kohl's Cash. David, I'm bummed. I'm bummed because I had believed that this was the quarter that could make or break things. A lot of the suppliers to Kohl's seem to be doing well. Hey, Ralph Lauren had a good number. David, we got to find more of a reason, you and me, to go to a Kohl's. Right now, I feel that it isn't even the housewares. It's not the clothes that you use when you're in a sporting event. Now we know it's not women. We have to find a reason to go to Kohl's right now, other than returning something from Amazon, which is a real pain in the butt. I don't have a reason. Give me a reason to quote Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yep. The wholesale model that you're referring to, Jim, you talked to the chief of Levi's about customization and the customer experience. Here's what he told you.
Consumers want to come into the store and they want an experience. They don't want to just come in. If they're just going to come in and transact, they can do that online. But they want to come into a store and have an experience, something that's unique, something that's Instagrammable. And we've got tailor shops in most of our mainline stores around the world where we do personalization and customization.
All right, Jim, what does that say?
Well, I have never Instagrammed in Kohl's. I just... No, I mean, it's not an Instagrammable moment. But when I was at Levi Strauss, I mean, they made a Mad Money jacket, a biker jacket. I felt like just joining a club, and just creating, a little bit of, not mayhem. That would be the wrong rule. I just think that Levi's is fun. It's interesting. It's attractive. You can make your own jeans. Kohl's, if we go to Kohl's, David, we're not even going to tweet. We're not going to tweet, let alone Instagram. No, not tweeting. Had Ned Siegel on yesterday. No, it's not a Twitter thing when you go to Kohl's. It's kind of just like, no, I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I guess I know what you mean. I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram, what? The long lines? Instagram the sock aisle? Maybe we Instagram some of their housewares?
Housewares.
No, we'll do an Instagram of... No, I mean, a lot of times there's a Petco near. We can go do Instagram, like, cats and dogs. That's always a winner.
Speaking of winners, technology. Of course, Journal pointing it out today, not that we need to be told, or anybody who watches this network for any length of time needs to be told, that technology has been yet another year of strong gains. Apple is down a bit, but overall, the tone in the big names that we follow closely is pretty good this morning again, Carl. We do have the NASDAQ comp up about 0.25%.
Indeed. There's a look at Apple. Interestingly, B of A is out with their 2020 outlook, Savita Subramanian, and says, Jim, they are lowering tech to market weight on risks of the trade war shifting to a tech war post-election. They say a move toward a dual U.S.-China supply chain could represent some short-term pain. That would be a shift.
Yeah, it would be. And you don't have to look any further than the action in Broadcom today. Morgan Stanley saying hold to buy. I mean, that's a company that is very much linked to China, and it doesn't seem to bother them. Remember, the narrative problem there is that Facebook, Alphabet, they don't rely on China. Tim Cook seems to be there'll be a Q&A with Tim Cook and Mark Benioff today. Tim Cook does as much business in the United States as they do in China. And the thing that analyst is missing is software as a service. The software stocks, software as a service, are doing so well, and they are not dependent on global trade. They just aren't. So while I like that, I can come up with excuses about why I want to buy various semiconductor stocks, AMD, why I want software as a service. What does that leave me that I hate in technology? HP? David, HP? HPQ? What do you think?
Yeah, which one? Which HP? HPQ or HPE? Which one do you not like? I'm sorry.
No, HPE is just a travesty of a mockery or a sham. No, I didn't mean that. They're nice people, but it's just that nobody, I don't know, HPE is, I'm one. Yeah, that's kind of like Coles. It's a new category for me.
31% this year. It's not bad.
Well, yeah, but where was it? Dave, that's one of those where the comparisons are easy. I think that we have to stay close to. Look at that bet. See, look where it came from in the bad part. Okay, but look, I got to give it credit. It's not going away. But I am more worried about HPQ. HPQ.
Yeah, I know. What did Chip Berg have to say during your interview? Anything? Did he want to talk at all about being the lead director there at HPQ?
Well, he did.
What they're going to do in terms of Xerox?
I don't want to speak for him. I actually have a quote pulled from yesterday. So let's take a listen. Okay, so that's a bit of a cricket situation. I thought we sent that. But what he did say was, just kidding. What he did was he talked about the notion that the board is much more, I felt that it's a strong board. I look at the players of the board. I don't really necessarily know a lot of the names. But, David, he made me feel that something that you said earlier, which is that it is about the board. And, David, it doesn't sound like the board is willing to do nothing. I know that the board likes what the changes that are going on. But, David, I thought the board really, the right deal. And I think the board's going to say you got to make it. I don't know. Enrique, right. He just got there. But, David, I'm listening to what you said. I think you're right. Chip is saying that the board is playing a major role. You've been saying that. It makes you feel like something's going to happen here.
We'll see. Day 2 here after the rejection. Well, day 3, actually. It was Sunday that HP's board did reject that $22 a share offer from Xerox. Remember, 77% of it is in cash. Xerox in a tough place, though, don't forget, because the only way they could really increase would be to go up in the cash portion. Any more stock, and you end up with HP shareholders owning more of the combined company than Xerox shareholders, and then you get into questions of, well, who should really be leading this thing? Here's a look at both. They're rebounding a bit from yesterday, Jim. That's interesting. I do want to hear what Chip had to say to you specifically on that, because the board is, of course, as you say, playing an important role here. No doubt about that.
Yeah, much more than I thought. I misjudged when you said that to me. Chip Berg is a very forceful guy. He runs Levi's. He's obviously independently wealthy. He's independent. And, David, I think people are starting to say, look, even though there's some tremendous feeling that Enrique's doing a great job, which I think he is. Remember, he just replaced Dion not that long ago. But, David, the combined company could be a dominant company in an area where you really have to take market share because there's not that much growth.
Well, there's not growth, and that's the key. Is there $2 billion in cost synergies? No. Is there more, as Xerox would like you to potentially believe, or is it going to be tough to find, as HP at least seems to think and wants a lot more time to take a look at it?
You got dueling salespeople in the same account, David. You know what that means? You can fire a lot of people.
Right. Or as Icon said, a lot of these aging companies generate cash longer than you think they will. Right? It's a slow grind, but
yes, but I mean, people still have AOL.
Yes, that's right.
What I always come back to. Somebody somewhere out there is still paying, I don't know, $20 a month for their AOL.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, David, David, remember we bought into the I Love Lucy thing for the long time. Les Moonves, I don't like Lucy. Look at that stock.
It always comes back to CBS. Just can't get away from it.
We're benefiting a bit from Boeing, up 1% as the Dow's up 8 points. Let's get to Bob Pisani. Morning, Bob.
Good morning, guys. Nice move on the upside. Still in record territory. Remember, the important thing is all the big cap names moving on the upside. Just take a look. Tech's doing well. Semiconductors having a good day. Banks moving up a little bit as well. Healthcare up here. And there's retail down. No surprise there, given what you've heard the guys talking about, Kohl's and Home Depot. Speaking of Home Depot, we're listening in on that conference call. So remember, the sales miss, they said, was due to the timing of certain investment initiatives. The very first question on the conference call was, is there something slowing in the macro and the consumer, or is it really just the timing of these investment initiatives? Here's the answer on the conference call. They saw strength across almost all of their departments. They singled out particularly growth in the pro and the DIY, that's do-it-yourself customers that are out there. They also talked a lot about online traffic and the average ticket also doing very well. They were very happy with that. So the short answer is it doesn't seem like there is something going on with the customer right now or the consumer. And the important thing is the stock is, as you can see here, down 5%, but this was down 220. This was at 220 right after the earnings report came out. So it's off the low. And do remember, this is up 40% almost this year overall. So this is one heck of a run for the company. Big move up overall. Important thing is holding up. This is one of the big quality companies that are out there right now. Let's talk about tech. We talked about the fact last week or so the tech's been very overbought. That's because your biggest names are moving the most. Microsoft, Apple up 7% this month. Intel's up 3%. Adobe 7%. Accenture 7%. These are the biggest stocks in the tech sector. Put up the next one. I'll show you the top 10. The only one that's not down this month, that's not up, is Cisco, down 5% on the earnings disappointment. Visa, MasterCard, Salesforce, Broadcom. These are the top 10 stocks. When you get them all up in the mid-single digits, except Cisco, the whole market's going to lift in tech, and that's why we're talking about very overbought. Very unusual, even with these stocks, to see them up this month in a month. Let's talk a little bit about Alibaba. We've been talking about that all last week. They're doing a secondary in Hong Kong. People ask me, why would they do a secondary in Hong Kong? They list here. Well, does this make sense to you? It sure makes sense to me. 755 million users in China. That's twice the population of the United States. You think somebody over there might be interested in owning their stock? I sure do. 2020 revenue growth, 30%. The company's growing like crazy. They're 50% of online sales in China. This makes a lot of sense to me. If you take a look also at the market cap here, 483 billion in the United States. Hong Kong's listing is going to be, we don't know yet, but it's 11 to 13 billion is the estimate that people have. So look at this as a pretty small investment here for a secondary, 2% of this one. Does that make any sense? Oh, it sure does. It looks like it's been a very successful strategy if the strategy was to increase the price of the stock. Take a look at this here. Here's Alibaba. Since they talked about the secondary listing, it's up, 25%. Rest of the market, China's up a little bit. U.S. is up just a little bit. Bottom line is this looks stunningly successful if the strategy was to get the price up. We'll see. We're going to get the price in the next day or two. Guys, back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks so much. Bob Pisani. Let's get to the bond pits as well. We got some interesting economic data earlier today. Rick's at the CME. Morning, Rick.
Good morning, Carl. You're absolutely right. Very solid starts, exceptional permits, and yet look at the response in 10-year. You see that drop? That was 8:30 Eastern. So they are marching to a bit of a different drummer as equities hover in record territory. Look at a 2-day of 10s. Yesterday's low, 179. If we get below that, we should see some activity. 10s minus 2s. Amazing. That's a 1-month chart. And basically 1 week, we've gone from 28 to 19 plus. And that happened based on the long end. 10s in that week lost 14 close to close. 2s only 6. So separation of 8 basis points explains it. That's very important because I don't know that the data warrants the long end getting hit that hard. 2-day dollar index. Obviously Mr. Trump seems to be talking down the dollar more than he's affecting Jay Powell. It looks like it's rebounding a bit. You see that dip yesterday. And finally, pound versus dollar. Intraday yesterday, it traded higher than that high you see on the right. That was the highest level since May, but it is backing away. Carl, David, back to you.
All right, Rick, we'll see you in a bit. The first House impeachment hearing of the week is underway. Our Elon Mui's on Capitol Hill monitoring that for us. Good morning, Elon.
Good morning, Carl. Well, we will be hearing today from Alexander Vindman, who is an official on the National Security Council, as well as Jennifer Williams, a foreign policy advisor to Vice President Mike Pence. They are just wrapping up their opening statements, and these are two key witnesses for Democrats because both of them were on that July 25th phone call between President Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Now, both of them also said that there was a crucial detail that had been left out of the official White House record of the call.
Both Colonel Vindman and Ms. Williams also took note of the explicit use of the word barisma by Zelensky, a fact conspicuously left out of the record of the call, now locked away on an ultra-secure server.
Now, the ranking Republican on the committee, Devin Nunes, spent much of his opening statement bashing the media and also questioning the integrity and motives of the whistleblower.
Now that the whistleblower has successfully kick-started impeachment, he has disappeared from the story, as if the Democrats put the whistleblower in their own witness protection program.
Now, last week, President Trump created quite a stir when he started tweeting attacks of one of the witnesses in real time during her testimony. We know that the president has criticized both Vindman and Williams in the past. So, guys, we will see if he's watching and how he responds today during the many hours of testimony ahead of us. Back over to you.
All right, Elon, thanks for that. When we come back, Qualcomm holding its first analyst meeting since 2016. The stock's up 59% for the year. Steve Molikoff's going to join John Ford exclusively on Squawk Alley later this morning, as we're sitting pretty flat this morning. Dow's down 10, and we're at 31.23.
The Bond Report. For the independent bookseller who found you that first edition.
For the baker who brings the smell of freshly baked breads to your door.
And for the barista who never needs to ask your name.
We've all got a part to play.
Every little tap keeps your high street alive.
And helps your communities thrive.
So if you love where you live, shop small.
Shopping on your local high street can make a big difference. Shop small. Only by American Express.
At Lidl, we're big on all those Christmas parties. The season to be jolly. Try our Party Time Indian snack selection for only $2.99. And our Party Time mac and cheese bites for just $1.19. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price. Subject to availability, selected stores excludes an eye.
On 3, our unlimited data is actually unlimited, like for reals. That means you can scroll and scroll and scroll through all the Black Friday deals.
Because we have no speed limits, no data caps, and you'll be 5G ready at no extra cost.
Wow, so many savings.
Our Black Friday deals are now on. Save up to £480. Switch to 3, in-store or online. See 3.co.uk/unlimited-data. Savings on selected phones on 24-month contracts. Ends 5th of December. Terms apply.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Going, gone.
Some things just don't hang around. Like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status, phase policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
This is the Survivalist Network. I told you it was coming. London is now in the full throes of a zombie outbreak. If you do not have an impregnable vehicle, you can still access a Toyota Hilux Invincible. Pre-contagion, it was £199 per month with 0% APR representative. For the good of future generations, friends at your local Toyota Hilux Centre are maintaining that deal. Heed, hurry, call. You'll be fine.
0% APR representative on new sales of Hilux Invincible over 42 months. £199 per month. Customer deposit of £9,701 when financed through Access Toyota by 16th of December 2019. £12,525 optional final payment. Subject to status to over 18s. Indemnities may be required. Conditions apply. Toyota Financial Services.
Here's a look at coal since Michelle Gass was named CEO in May of last year. Down some 21%. Kramer had some tough words for their performance as they miss, and comps are a disappointment, guiding lower for the year. Dow's down 21 to start this Tuesday. We'll get Stop Trading with Jim in a minute.
So what are you working on?
College football is live on TuneIn. Listen for free to games from more than 140 schools all season long.
To the 10, all the way to the checkerboard. But he stays on his feet and scores.
Number 2 Ohio State looks to clinch the Big Ten Eastern Title Division outright and a spot in the Big Ten Conference Championship game as they host the 9th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions in Columbus. This Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Listen to every call and every game of your school all season long for free on TuneIn. Penn State at Ohio State. Just search college to listen today.
You love TuneIn for live breaking news from CNN, MSNBC, Fox, CNBC, and more. But when you can't catch your favorite show as it airs, it might just be a click away as a podcast. Search your favorite news station to explore all the on-demand news shows on TuneIn.
Hey NFL fans, can't watch the game? Can't be there? No biggie. With your TuneIn Premium membership, you have unlimited access to every team and every game in the league. Listen live as it happens or on demand. Anytime, anywhere. All season long. Search NFL today.
When you're not listening to your team, take it to the end zone, the rim, or the net. Keep up with the biggest moments in sports by following TuneIn on social media.
Block, Cook into the end zone for the touchdown.
From reminders of the live top games to tips of the best sports stations and podcasts.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless.
Follow and TuneIn on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get the most out of TuneIn.
This is not a commercial. This is a reminder. With TuneIn Premium, you could be listening to more music commercial-free. Get over 45 commercial-free music stations. Visit TuneIn.com/premium to upgrade.
Cutting for the net. Scores! On the goal line, Marchand scores!
Hockey fans, the 2019-20 NHL season is here.
And tucks it home!
And with this team, it's really fun to be a part of a team like that.
And you can hear the action live on TuneIn Premium. From regular season action to the All-Star Game and through the Stanley Cup in June. Hear the home and away call for every game, for every team live. At home or on the go, never miss a game with the NHL on TuneIn Premium.
Upgrade today.
Let's get to Jim and stop trading.
You know, one of the deals that people were very critical of was Peloton. I mean, the stock plunged all the way down to 20 after it came public. Well, here it is at 30 and change. I love this note from JP Morgan saying, you got to buy it. They're just starting to move to Germany. This one is turning out to be far more disruptive toward fitness industry than most people thought. Good for them. Good for them. I mean, I got to tell you, John Foley is doing a remarkable job. Maybe this was not so overvalued for the unicorns. It may be one of the better IPOs for the second half of the year.
NBC Universal's an investor. Of course, we had John Foley on our desk during the print, and stock didn't look good then.
No, it didn't after that earnings. Yeah, and he didn't necessarily have the answers. Jim, all you've talked about is your wife's clothes being hung off the Peloton in your house. So suddenly I feel like you're changing your tune a little bit.
I am thinking that she ought to take the clothes off. Maybe even get on it, turn it on. I don't know. It's been such a good clothes rack, but maybe it has a second function, David.
Jim, what's on Mad tonight?
Okay, we got NVIDIA, which you know is a family fave. We've got Restoration Hardware now, RH. How'd that happen? It turns out Warren Buffett likes it. And Rita, it's time to start talking Square. No one's been talking about Square since the days of Sarah Fryer. And then, of course, the king of the cloud, Mark Benioff, because business is the greatest source of change.
That's amazing lineup, Jim. We can't wait. The hits keep on coming.
Well,
Mad Money, 6 p.m. tonight.
I just want to point out, some people are worried about Levi's not making the quarter after the Colts. Okay.
All right. We'll see you tonight, Jim. When we come back, the New York State Attorney General making an announcement on vaping in a few moments. We'll get you that live with the Dow down 21.
When we chose independence,
I've got to tell you about our beautiful city break in Bath. Midweek is the perfect time to beat the crowds. Just an hour and a half by train from London. It was so relaxing. We headed straight for Bath Christmas Market. Oh, I can still smell the roasted chestnuts and mulled wine from the chalets. Next, we donned our skates for Bath on Ice. I'm a natural. Didn't have to hold on to anything or anyone. There's so much to do in Bath. I'm already planning my next trip.
Discover the magic of Bath this Christmas. Plan ahead at visitbath.co.uk/Christmas.
Cold Tuesday afternoons like this are cruel. You cough, you splutter, so does your car. Its battery dead, killed by an icy claw. Will anyone stand up to winter? Yes, you. Come to Halfords. We fit new batteries on the spot from just £15, and we're open late 7 days a week. See halfords.com for opening hours. Here in Wandsworth. Ready for the cold snap? Ready for anything. Halfords, for life's journeys.
Batteries sold separately. Selected vehicles only in most stores.
I love Black Friday. Busy shops, crazy people, average deals. It's so much fun.
Said no one ever. So be savvy and do Black Friday the easy way with Smarty. Grab a huge 100 gig data SIM for just £17 a month on the Mega Plan. And with no credit checks, speed restrictions or contracts tying you down, you can kick back with the best Black Friday deal around. Now that's Smarty. Search Smarty Mobile to find out more, but hurry, as this deal won't be around for long. See smarty.co.uk for terms.
For the independent bookseller who found you that first edition,
For the baker, who brings the smell of freshly baked bread to your door.
And for the barista, who never needs to ask your name.
We've all got a part to play.
Every little tap keeps your high street alive.
And helps your communities thrive.
So if you love where you live, shop small.
Shopping on your local high street can make a big difference. Shop small. Only by American Express.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Going, gone.
Some things just don't hang around, like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status, phase policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with David Faber, Contessa Brewer, who's in for Sarah Eisen at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Markets looking for some direction here once again, but record highs not too far away in sight as we pay attention not so much to trade today as retail earnings.
Yeah, and our roadmap starts this morning with retail rout. The sector on pace for its worst day of November, with Home Depot and Kohl's sliding on weak quarters.
The vaping crackdown will take you live to the New York State Attorney General making an announcement on vaping this hour.
And eyewear brand Warby Parker launching its own line of contact lenses. We're going to speak with the company's co-founder and co-CEO on this new move.
First up, though, we'll begin with the retail route. Home Depot and Kohl's under some pressure this morning after earnings, both sinking and cutting outlook and comps forecast for the full year. TJX is a bright spot, beating on both the top and the bottom lines as we now monitor, guys, the wires for some headlines from the conference call. Home Depot specifically mentioning pricing in lumber, building materials, as well as some tariff costs, which they say they are looking at the broader impact on the consumer from tariffs.
But look, it's clear that they've had some momentum from housing in general. They said that they are making investments, and that's one of the reasons why they're coming in lower than expected, lower than what consensus has. I'm really interested in, number one, how long do they keep blaming tariffs for this? Because this is something that they've known has been coming, and how do you manage those costs? But also, you know, when you're lowering your outlook, you've got Kohl's lowering outlook as well. What does it mean for the holiday season? We've got a lot of retailers this morning that look like they're under pressure.
Yeah, Kohl's is one of the key ones that's under pressure. They're citing on the call what has been a pricing environment that has been very competitive, and their decision to meet that pricing environment and even lower price perhaps to bring more people into the stores, give them some momentum going into October. But as you can see, of course, it has resulted in lower margins, which are lowering the overall guidance for the company for the full year and certainly into the fourth quarter. They say that given the heightened competitive environment, they did respond by investing in pricing, enhancing their marketing offers, recognizing the importance of entering the holiday season with what they say is momentum. Certainly not getting the kind of momentum they might have liked in their stock price.
And of course, when we talk retail at CNBC, we talk Courtney Reagan, who follows this area very closely. So, Courtney, what did you read into the reports that were coming out of Home Depot, coming out of Kohl's this morning, and what it means for Macy's reporting later this week?
Yeah, Contessa, I think you kind of are all hitting the nail on the head that it's really just sending some worried vibes ahead of Black Friday next week. I mean, this is retail's most key time of the year. Home Depot did miss those sales expectations, putting up softer gross margins too. Guidance was reiterated, but Instinet analyst Mike Baker note that actually implies a bit lower than expected final quarter of the year. Comp sales remain solidly positive for Home Depot, but they still fell short of consensus. And the company is bullish on the housing market in general, though. I think that's an important note here. On the conference call, CEO Craig Menear said, look, things like sales of high-priced discretionary items, for example, those haven't slowed. We're not seeing macro changes. What Menear did say is it's our multi-year strategy, and the investment that goes along with that, it's bearing fruit, but not quite at the rate that we had initially planned for. He also said that, plus you've got continued deflation in lumber prices, $175 million drag on this quarter, and a shift of Black Friday sales kind of distorted the quarter. This is what I mean. Last year, Black Friday was in the third quarter. This year, it'll be in the fourth quarter. In 2018, Black Friday for Home Depot, the single highest sales day in history. So that can make a bit of a difference there when you're looking year over year. Now, Kohl's also, as you mentioned, lowered its guidance, reported lower than expected sales. That stock price is getting pretty crushed here. Comparable sales did turn positive. They were up 0.4%. That was a good change from down 3% in the first half of the year. But the off-mall department store did see good back-to-school momentum initially. Then it weakened in September due to what the company calls an increasingly competitive environment and unseasonably warm weather. So as David mentioned, Kohl's lowered prices. They increased their marketing in reaction to that. Women's apparel ended up being the only negative category in the quarter, but that's one of the biggest ones, so that's pretty important. Citi says the market had hoped for more, particularly as Amazon returns were accepted in all Kohl's stores this quarter. There was the launch of several new exclusive brands and a new loyalty program, but not enough to assuage investors today. You can see Kohl's shares down now more than 18%.
So, Courtney, TJX came in with better than expected results. What are they doing right with Marshalls and Home Goods and TJ Maxx?
So I think when you look at the broader trend of TJX, it has continued to be a really strong story, which in some ways flies in the face of what we talk about a lot because they don't really have a very strong online presence, right? And we talk about how much that is changing the game in retail. But for TJX, which also owns, of course, Marshalls and Home Goods, it's still all about that treasure hunt and that value for the consumer. So there is a decent cohort of consumers, and it seems to be growing, that really like that business model. They are cool with going to the stores. They don't need that online presence. They like finding something special that they feel is at a great price. So I think it's really a bigger business model story that continues to work for those off-price retailers.
I'm always amazed, Courtney, when I look at the market cap at TJX. I forget how large it is.
It is. It's really large, and it has an international presence, too. I think we forget about that a little bit. They're not sort of as out there as much media-wise as some of the other names, so they have a quieter presence in the way that they sort of tell their story, but it's really not to be underestimated.
No, it's a $74 billion market cap. You can see it right there. It's far larger than Target. Huge. Let me come back with you quickly to Home Depot. These strategic investments that they've talked about, not paying off as quickly as they talked about, but they continue to make them, they say on the call. What are they exactly talking about here that they've done that they're expecting to get a payoff from, but not as quickly as they perhaps had thought?
So there's all sorts of different things, but one of the ones that Craig Menear kind of pointed to is things like the IT infrastructure. It doesn't sound that sexy, but what he's saying is, look, we had all these legacy systems, and we basically had to break them all down and then build all of these new systems. It's taking a lot longer than we thought to do that, and as you can imagine, they then have to build the systems. They have to train the employees. There are like all these sorts of hiccups along the way. They've done a pretty good job of managing the expenses, but then once they have all these systems in place, they're having a hard time seeing the payoff. And a big one was building this business-to-business website so that they can serve the pros better. So you sort of have your own unique Home Depot login. It serves up personalized recommendations. If you're a plumber, you're getting recommendations for plumbing as opposed to roofing. But having that happen is taking a little bit longer than they had thought it would.
All right, Courtney, thank you very much for bringing us the big wrap-up there.
Meantime, take a look at the broader markets. The Dow and the S&P are moving lower after hitting some new highs at the open. As the president says he did meet with Fed Chair Jay Powell at the White House, he tweeted about the meeting late last night. He said, quote, "At my meeting with Jay Powell this morning, I protested the fact that our Fed rate is set too high relative to the interest rates of other competitor countries. In fact, our rate should be lower than all others. We are the U.S. Too strong a dollar hurting manufacturers and growth kind of runs counter to what his chief economic advisor has said for years. That is Larry Kudlow talking about the benefits of a strong dollar.
What we won't know, of course, is what Powell responded.
Exactly right.
Did he say, you don't want negative rates, Mr. President? And let me tell you why. I guess we'll never know because Powell's not saying it.
Right. Meanwhile,
which might be in his best interest at this point.
The president also tweeted about the performance of the NASDAQ so far this year, which is due in large part to the performance of the semis, which brings us to Savita Subramanian over at Bank of America today. Says, following a remarkable run, we think it's prudent for investors to neutralize their tech exposure. semis are directly exposed to the U.S.-China trade war, she adds, which we think could escalate into a tech war post-2020 election, which we brought up with Jim in the last hour.
Yeah, and they performed so well, of course, as we know, as a group this year. Many of them up well 50, 60, 80%.
Meantime, California and Los Angeles County are suing Juul Labs, alleging that the vaping brand targeted young people through advertising and failed to give warnings about the health risks. We're moments away from an announcement on vaping, this time from the AG of New York. In advance of that, let's bring in Jefferies tobacco analyst Owen Bennett and the president of Blue Line Futures, Bill Baruch. Thanks for being with us, guys. Owen, what do we think we're going to hear?
I'd imagine it's something similar to California now, and that would kind of set the trend in terms of another lawsuit in a long line of lawsuits now, which are really piling up. And if there was just one lawsuit, then potentially you could ignore it. But with so many of them now, you'd have to assume there's material grounds for the allegations, and therefore some, if not all of them, will be successful at some point with compensation potentially paid.
Are the states doing this pretty much ad hoc, or are you sensing that the AGs would get together and do this as a group?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of political pressure internally in Congress now, so I'd imagine they're discussing this as a group. And given kind of recent reports that President Trump is potentially pulling back on flavor regulations, they may feel like they need to act independently to try and do something around this.
Bill, it's not like the threat of these lawsuits is new. How do you play what's happening now and what we're anticipating hearing from the New York Attorney General?
Well, there are a lot of moving pieces here, and, it was expected. The stock, looking at Altria, is taking its stride very well. These lawsuits are going to continue, and they've been going on for much part of this year. But you look back, and a couple weeks ago, Altria wrote down a good portion, $4.5 billion of its investment. Looking at the stock and where we are, we've rallied 20% from the September low in Altria. So this isn't where you want to buy it. And not only that, you don't buy these stocks because you love cigarettes. You buy them right now because of the dividend. And looking at a 7% dividend in the stock, it makes it attractive, but you still don't chase it on this level. Look for a pullback.
Let me interrupt you, Bill, as the AG of New York is beginning to speak.
Million high school students and 1.2 million middle school students currently use e-cigarettes. And according to the CDC, between 2017 and 2018, e-cigarette use increased 78% among high school students and 48% amongst middle school students nationwide. And the New York State Department of Health estimates that 1 million residents use e-cigarette products on a regular basis. 220,000 of those users are under the age of 18. And there is no doubt that Juul, the largest e-cigarette company, has caused this addiction. In fact, they hold 70% of the market. And that's why today we are taking action by announcing a comprehensive lawsuit against Juul Labs Incorporated. Juul basically took a page from Big Tobacco's playbook by marketing its products in a manner that was appealing to underage youth. It misled consumers about the nicotine content of Juul's products. It misrepresented the safety and the therapeutic value of its products by saying they were safer than cigarettes and suggesting that consumers make the switch, when in reality, Juul's products contain significant amounts of nicotine and are not cessation devices. They allowed minors to purchase its products in violation of New York state law. And Juul violated New York state law by repeatedly targeting teenagers through its vast advertising campaigns and selling products in a variety of appealing flavors to underage New Yorkers through its website and in retail stores. And when Juul launched in 2015, New Yorkers, the consumers, were introduced to the company through targeted launch parties in New York City and the Hamptons. Its ad campaigns were accompanied by the catchy phrase vaporized, with a corresponding social media hashtags, including hashtag dash vaporize, or hashtag dash Juul, or hashtag dash lights, comma, camera, comma, vapor, and hashtag dash Juul vapor. The ads failed to warn consumers that Juul's products contained nicotine, which is highly addictive and particularly dangerous for teenagers. A 2016 survey revealed that roughly 1/3 of teens surveyed reported that they thought Juul and other e-cigarette products were harmless. In subsequent years, Juul's social media presence continued to focus heavily on attracting young audiences.
That is Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, talking about their lawsuit against Juul Labs. You can hear sort of their arguments are pretty plain. Going back to marketing practices that the company admits were misguided and have tried to apologize for since, but New York's going back to their earlier days, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's this ultimately, when you consider it in the context of big tobacco, I think is actually supportive of sentiment, supportive of long-term growth in terms of investing in big tobacco, because what these things highlight is we need increased regulation, and with increased regulation, it enforces barriers to entry, which enforces the historical oligopoly, which people have been concerned about recently. And what I would flag actually in markets such as Europe, where we've had strict regulation around vapor since 2016, there's no issues with teenage usage. You've got a very strong, flourishing vapor market, and it's actually becoming consolidated amongst the majors.
Implications for Altria now, or at least some of these new heated tobacco products?
Well, Altria, it's obviously sold out off a lot. If you look at its relative valuation now, it's not at historical lows, with arguably difficult times ahead remaining for Juul and potentially limited traction on IQOS. We have our reservations around how successful that will be in the US. I'd remain cautious on Altria at these levels.
Bill, lawsuits aside, how problematic is it banning flavors from the Juul pods?
I mean, from my understanding, they've banned everything but 2 flavors right now, and some of the ones that are most popular. But you look at it, why are they banning it? And it's coming from the kids that are doing it, and they're trying to. The regulation is going to start from the state level. It's really going to have to be implemented, from the federal level. I mean, there's serious violations here. There's proof. They're sending this stuff through the mail. That's a federal offense. That's where it's going to have to start. But the old saying goes: you sell the lawsuit, you buy the settlement. So right now, there's going to be some weakness, and it's not coming in the stock right now. But looking out, where are we going to find the stock end up, say 6 months down the road? Earnings have been good. We've seen a good rally off the lows. The dividends are there, and if they can figure this out, and they can figure out the IQOS launch, there could be some value in this stock moving forward. But again, there's a lot of uncertainty here. We don't know. We got to see what type of products they're going to have still available, if at all.
So where would you buy?
I would have to see at least a halfway retracement back into 44. And again, that dividend of 7% at this level makes the stock attractive long term. But I just don't see. I'm not biting up here, and I don't see a reason really to be anxious to be a buyer at 44. I want to see again this play out from the state level into the federal level. See what products they still have available after that, and see how this IQOS launch goes. And then again, you're not buying it because of the cigarettes. You're buying it because of the dividend, and there could be some longer term value from that level.
You've got Trump's nominee to the FDA, who's going to testify before a Senate committee tomorrow, likely to be pressed about this. Does that influence at all your take on these stocks?
Well, I mean, the reports around potentially President Trump pulling back on flavors, what you need to consider there, actually, the culprit in all of this is Juul. And actually, they've removed all their flavors apart from menthol and tobacco voluntarily. So, I mean, the actions that were going to be taken have already arguably been put into place by Juul themselves. So whether there is such a negative impact from pulling back on that remains to be seen.
Guys, we'll wait and see if Juul has a response to this additional after a day after California out of New York this time. Bill, Owen, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Still to come, eyewear brand Warby Parker is launching its own line of contact lenses. The company co-founder and co-CEO, it's the same guy, going to join us first on CNBC. And later today, don't miss Goldman Sachs' senior chairman. He's the former CEO of that company as well, Lloyd Blankfein. He'll be on the halftime report, 12 Eastern. A lot more Squawk on the Street when we return.
It was Sophie's big day. Welcome inside Rachel's mind. She's unsure if now's the time to sell her home.
Should we stay put or sell up? Wait. It's definitely best to wait.
No, sell. Definitely sell.
Relax, Rachel. Purple Bricks has sold more homes than any other estate agent for 2 years running. Purple Bricks. You'll be totally sold.
Independent sales data from 20CI, May 17, April 19. Fixed fee payable on instruction or after 10 months. Viewing services cost extra.
At Lidl, we're big on those little reasons to be jolly. Like our delicious Favorina all butter mini Stollen bites for just $1.99. And 6 deluxe mince pies for just $1.35. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price. Subject to availability, selected stores excludes an eye.
On 3, our unlimited data is actually unlimited, like for reals. That means you can scroll and scroll and scroll through all the Black Friday deals.
Because we have no speed limits, no data caps, and you'll be 5G ready at no extra cost.
Wow, so many savings.
Our Black Friday deals are now on. Save up to £480. Switch to 3, in-store or online. See 3.co.uk/unlimited-data. Savings on selected phones on 24-month contracts. Ends 5th of December. Terms apply.
Christmas is such a magical time of year for little ones. But why should the big kids miss out? This season, take the family to Santa's Wonderlab at West London Audi. You get to test drive the latest Audi models, and the children get to test drive the latest toys with Santa. There's something for the whole family. Visit santaswonderlab.com to find out more about how to register for your place at Santa's Wonderlab this Christmas.
At TUI, we can help you find the perfect getaway for two. We fly to over 70 destinations worldwide, so wherever you have in mind, we'll help you get there. Book now and choose from thousands of holidays under $399 per person and pay £0 deposit when paying with direct debit. Book online or in-store with one of our travel experts. At TUI, we cross the T's, dot the I's and put you in the middle. Offer available on selected holidays for a limited time and subject to availability. Booking T's and C's apply. At all protected.
Eyewear brand Warby Parker announced it's expanding its focus, adding a new prescription business called Scout, growing the frames line to include daily use contact lenses. Joining us now to discuss the company's growth, competition, and more, Warby Parker co-founder and co-CEO Neil Blumenthal. Neil, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Is this the kind, I mean, you had a real opportunity with eyeglasses because EssilorLuxottica had a near monopoly on glasses. Did you have the same scenario coming into contact lenses where you could be the upstart competitor?
The price umbrella is not as big as with glasses, right? Because our glasses are $95 instead of $400 or $500. But our contacts now are $110 as opposed to $150. So there's still great value. We find that 3 of the top 4 contact manufacturers are pharmaceutical companies. We don't feel that they're able to provide a holistic customer experience like we're able to.
So this was really about the contacts themselves as opposed to price, because I looked and, I mean, you can go to Costco and get a 3-month supply of contact lenses for $64.
Yeah, so that $64 is actually for a 90-pack, whereas ours, a 90-pack for one eye is $55. So we're still able to provide it at a lower price. The big difference is that we're also able to provide the convenience of, you go into a Warby Parker store, you go to our website, and one of the things that we're really excited about these lenses is there's actually 80% less waste. So the packaging is radically different from any contact lens on the market currently.
What's that do for shipping costs?
It brings it down, less carbon emissions, but the really neat thing is you can actually put it in your wallet if you need be. It doesn't take up any room. When you open it, it's always the right side up. So your finger's only touching the outside of the lens, never the part of the lens that touches your actual eye, so it's more hygienic as well.
What's it going to do to sales of glasses? Right? What's the mix of going to be eventually?
So over 40% of our customers also buy contact lenses. So we think that we can build a really big business, even just offering this to existing customers. And we're fine. We recognize, just as people live physically and digitally, and we have physical and digital presence, we're the same with glasses and contacts, right? It's usually not an either or.
How long did it take you to actually research the market, get the product where you need it to be, make sure your manufacturing is up to speed? How long did it all take?
So this is something we've always wanted to do. When we look at the market, sort of eye exams and contact lenses are over $11 billion market in the U.S., so it's a great opportunity for us. But we started in earnest about a year and a half ago, really researching, understanding the market, the product landscape, and then finding an amazing partner manufacturer in Japan to produce the contact lenses.
What about the technical advances that you're seeing from Microsoft and Facebook and Apple on glasses? Does that hold any appeal for you?
It does. It's super exciting. You know, unfortunately, we're not yet at the point in like the movie Minority Report, right, where you have like really functional wearables. But we think that that's something that could be down the road. It's probably 10 years away from something that's really functional. The challenge that we've seen with most wearables is that it's great for gaming. There's not real great use cases for everyday wear. And at the end of the day, glasses are a fashion accessory, so it has to look great.
One of the big obstacles for these companies is how bulky the glasses are if they're going to be worn. Have any of these companies approached you to ask about a partnership and doing the actual design?
We do talk to everybody and stay in the loop. Yeah. So, you know, we think that we're not going to be able to invest the same amount of capital as a lot of the big tech companies in the space, but we can be a great partner to them.
Where are we? In the past, we've had you on to talk about the mix of physical versus online, and then we continue to see blow up after blow up of retailers who mismanaged that mix and had to are closing stores as we speak. Or you seem to have tested it and committed to it, right? Because these are no longer pop-ups.
Right. No, we now actually have 112 stores across the country and in Canada. And we've been very deliberate with our rollout. So our first store in Soho was a couple blocks away from our office where we had a showroom and we were doing several $1 million of sales out of our office. So that was a safe bet. We've then deliberately expanded into outdoor lifestyle centers, really honed how is that going to work? How are the financials slightly different in an outdoor lifestyle center than on a street location? Looked at then indoor malls, looked at tested college towns like Boulder and Madison and Ann Arbor, then have gone into suburban main streets like Westfield, New Jersey. And what we found is that our model works in all these locations, but it's only after we test that we then begin to scale.
Is there one that is riskier, you think? Are the malls just treacherous right now or not?
Certainly not the Class A malls that we're in. We're seeing that traffic is very strong in these centers. When we speak to the heads of these REITs, they do tell us, hey, traffic is generally good, but people aren't visiting as many stores during their trip to the mall. And
Fewer stops,
and that's because people are really doing discovery and starting the shopping process online. Right, over 70% of the customers that purchase in our stores have spent significant time on our website or on our app before visiting the store.
Neil, you mentioned your new packaging, really flat, less waste. You're recycling some materials here, but you're also doing a buy a pair, give a pair eyeglasses. Talk a little bit about the ESG and where you find business value in that.
Yeah, so it's not something that we lead with our customer communications because we recognize that people care first and foremost, how do the glasses look on our face? How do the contacts feel on my eye? What is the price, the quality and service? But it is the number one reason why people come and work at Warby Parker. So if we want to be customer first, we have to be employee first. And having a strong social mission and now providing over 5 million pairs of glasses to people in need around the world and even in the States in cities like New York, Philadelphia, and Baltimore, that enables us to recruit and retain the best talent.
Neil, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Quick programming note as we go to break all day on CNBC. Do not miss some very big interviews from our Evolve conference out in LA, including the CEOs of Chipotle, Walmart, Activision Blizzard. Squawk on the Street's back in a moment. Dow's down 58.
I look at an idea.
At Lidl, we're big on those little reasons to be jolly. Like our delicious Favorina all butter mini Stollen bites for just $1.99 and 6 deluxe mince pies for just $1.35. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price.
Subject to availability, selected stores excludes NI.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Christmas is such a magical time of year for little ones. But why should the big kids miss out? This season, take the family to Santa's Wonderlab at West London Audi. You get to test drive the latest Audi models, and the children get to test drive the latest toys with Santa. There's something for the whole family. Visit santaswonderlab.com to find out more about how to register for your place at Santa's Wonderlab this Christmas.
Dell celebrates your small business this November with early Black Friday deals. Our biggest Black Friday ever starts right now. Save up to 50% on business tech, including Windows 10 computers, powerful servers, and the latest award-winning monitors, all with free delivery. Call 0800 085 4878 to talk to a Dell advisor today. That's 0800 085 4878. Or visit dell.co.uk/SB deals for Dell's biggest Black Friday ever. Limited time online offer. Hurry while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
London. There's nothing like coming back to a warm home after a long day at work, especially when you've been stuck in rush hour for what seems like an eternity. Luckily, with Hive Active Heating, you can turn your heating on from wherever you are. And with our Black Friday offer, enjoy 25% off, plus a free Amazon Echo Dot. Search Hive Heating to buy now. Hive services require broadband and Wi-Fi. Terms apply. Offer ends 2nd December.
Going, gone.
Some things just don't hang around, like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status, phase policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
Time now for our ETF Spotlight. Let's take a look at the tech spider ticker XLK. Continues to climb a day after a record close for the broader sector. Tech stocks on track for their best year in a decade. As investors maintain interest in FANG and chip stocks, the tech sector now up 41% in 2019, handily outperforming the S&P 500, Carl.
Let's get a news update with Rahel Solomon back at HQ. Hi, Rahel.
Hi, Carl. Good morning, everyone. And here's what's happening at this hour. 2 federal jail workers who were on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in a New York City jail were arrested on federal charges this morning. That's according to the New York Times. This relates to their failure to check on Epstein during the night. Sweden has dropped the rape investigation involving WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who is currently in prison in Britain. A prosecutor citing weakened evidence as one of the reasons. It also follows a ruling in June by a Swedish court that Assange should not be detained. A Russian court has upheld an earlier ruling to keep a former U.S. Marine in a Moscow jail at least until the end of the year as he faces espionage charges. Paul Whelan was arrested at a hotel in the Russian capital last December. He has denied the charges. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson there, visiting a boxing gym in Manchester. This is ahead of a televised debate against opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn. He practiced some of his boxing moves with the coach before slipping on a pair of gloves with the words, "Get Brexit Done," written on them. Not something you see every day. And that is our CNBC News update for this hour. David, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Rahel. When we come back right here, is it time to buy this dip in Home Depot? The share's down over 5%. We're going to debate the Dow component with the company finishing up its conference call just in the last half hour or so. We got a lot more Squawk on the Street for you. Stay where you are.
At Lidl, we're big on those little reasons to be jolly. Like our delicious Favorina all butter mini Stollen bites for just $1.99 and 6 deluxe mince pies for just $1.35. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price. Subject to availability, selected stores excludes NI.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Christmas is such a magical time of year for little ones. But why should the big kids miss out? This season, take the family to Santa's Wonderlab at West London Audi. You get to test drive the latest Audi models, and the children get to test drive the latest toys with Santa. There's something for the whole family. Visit santaswonderlab.com to find out more about how to register for your place at Santa's Wonderlab this Christmas.
I wish me a Merry Christmas. I wish me a Merry Christmas. I wish me a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Don't forget yourself this Christmas. Get 90 gig of data for the price of 30 on the stunning Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Search O2 Christmas deals.
O2 Refresh Credit by Telefonica UK Limited. Contract eligibility and terms apply.
Home Depot shares under pressure this morning. This on weaker than expected quarterly sales. It was hurt by lower lumber prices. The company also cut its full year outlook. Joining us now, Jeffrey's Jonathan Matuszewski and Wedbush's Seth Basham. Guys, thanks to you both. I know you're both coming off the conference call. Seth, let me start with you. Give me your impressions from the call. I know they spoke both about lumber prices, also the payoff on these strategic investments they've made, perhaps not coming quite as quickly as they thought. What's your take?
Yeah, thanks for having me. As it relates to the quarter, I think it was a decent quarter, just not quite as strong as expected. The primary shortfall was on delayed benefits from strategic investments, as you mentioned, and those should come through over the next few quarters. We're still talking about a company that's growing sales nicely and that is gaining share in the marketplace. So I think Home Depot is pretty well positioned.
Jonathan, your take?
Yeah, I think comparable store sales were a little bit lighter, but we're still believers that Home Depot is a core long-term holding here. You know, we see initiatives to grow EPS growth ahead, like the B2B site for pros, as well as tool rental and everything they're doing in delivery. And also margins came in line with expectations. So, you know, we believe that the backdrop is still favorable for these guys.
What would give you pause? I mean, they did obviously sell a bit less than had anticipated during the course of the quarter, Jonathan. Is there anything that would give you pause? You heard nothing on the call to do so?
You know, what would give me pause is if we were seeing a drop-off in terms of big-ticket spending, and we saw a really nice acceleration there. You know, big ticket was up 4.8%, up 5.5%, excluding the impact from hurricanes. So, you know, we feel good about that. Big ticket spend is obviously important for the pro customer, so you know we're pleased there. I think what's going to be key to monitor going forward is getting some of these pros enrolled in the B2B website. Seems like Home Depot needs to unwind some of its legacy IT systems there, but you know I think those benefits should spill over into the next quarter and early 2020.
Hey Seth, looking within the quarter at the comps. They went from 4.1 in August to 3.7 in September to 3.1 in October. Is that intra-quarter deceleration common?
It's not uncommon, but in this case, there was a calendar shift that impacted their October comps by about 100 basis points because they shifted a week from this year versus last year. So on an adjusted basis, we didn't really see much of a deceleration. And in fact, if we think about the exit rate for the quarter, we're really around 5%, which is pretty much what they're guiding to for the fourth quarter. So we're not too concerned about that.
Lowe's reports tomorrow morning. I'm just curious, what's Home Depot's competitive advantage in terms of driving foot traffic? Jonathan.
Yeah, you know, I'd say obviously they do have a better grip of the pro here. They have around 45% of their sales coming from pro customers. Lowe's is closer to 20 to 25%, although they have been making, you know, headway there. So I'd say Home Depot's advantage is really with the pro and everything they've been doing in the omni-commerce framework, right? I mean, on the call, we just heard about traffic up in the digital channel as well as conversion better. So obviously Lowe's has some issues there historically. They are making investments there. We feel comfortable with our comp estimate for Lowe's tomorrow at around 3%. I think that captures some of the deflationary lumber pressures, offset by maybe some headway they're making with the pro.
Seth, our retail correspondent, Courtney Reagan, was telling us that last year Black Friday was a record breaker for Home Depot. Why is that such a big holiday for a home store?
Yeah, probably in each of the last 3 years, we've seen record-breaking Black Friday sales for Home Depot. They continue to get better and better at merchandising and marketing the Black Friday period. So what are they doing? They're offering things like power tools at very cut-rate prices. They are driving traffic to the stores with events centered around specific items. And they're starting the Black Friday sales earlier and earlier. We've already seen them kick those off, and we think that it's going to continue to benefit them. So home improvement has become a bigger category for Black Friday than it has, say, 10 years ago.
Mom of twin boys, too, and I'll tell you, they offer these kids seminars the beginning of every month. To me, it just looks like early branding. How important is it for them to be building these younger and younger audiences, Jonathan? Consumer base.
I would say millennials account for around 20% of Home Depot's customer base, and they've been leaning in heavily there. I think they've done a lot of focus groups, and their learnings from that generation have really guided some of their store refreshes, some of their website redesigns, their mobile app, etc. And I think as they appeal to that millennial customer, that's going to be important, especially as household formation ticks up. We're seeing from our work around residential construction more building permits outside of city centers. So I think that's going to help with the affordability equation and make homes more affordable for millennials. So I think they're doing great things there.
Guys, we're going to leave it there for now. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're monitoring the latest public hearing in the House impeachment inquiry down in Washington, D.C. Elon Mui is keeping an eye on that for us. Elon, what have we learned?
Well, Contessa, Republicans have just begun the 45 minutes of questioning from the ranking Republican on the committee, Devin Nunes, and his chief counsel. The witnesses who are testifying today are Jennifer Williams, an aide to Vice President Mike Pence, and Alexander Vindman, an official at the National Security Council. Now, Vindman has given some pretty personal testimony so far this morning. He was born in Ukraine. He is clearly a decorated Army veteran. He got a Purple Heart while in Iraq, and he spoke emotionally about his service to the country.
Dad, I'm sitting here today in the U.S. Capitol talking to our elected professionals is proof that you made the right decision 40 years ago to leave the Soviet Union and come here to the United States of America in search of a better life for our family. Do not worry. I will be fine for telling the truth.
He also talked about the implicit power dynamic in that July 25th phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky. He said it was clear that in order to get a White House meeting, Zelensky needed to deliver on the investigations.
Where I come from, the military culture, when a senior asks you to do something, even if it's polite and pleasant, it's not to be taken as a request. It's to be taken as an order.
Now, Vindman had also flagged the fact that Burisma was also brought up during that July 25th phone call. He said that the word was not included in the official White House record of the call, but during the hearing this morning, he said that he didn't believe that was nefarious and that it was, quote, not a big deal. Back over to you.
Elon, thanks for keeping us honest on the developments on the Hill this morning. Our Elon Mui. As we go to break, take a look at shares of Apple, moving a bit lower this morning after hitting another all-time high in earlier trade. Company also announcing a surprise event next month here in New York City that will honor the company's favorite apps and games of the year. Apple is not expected to release any new products at that event, but we'll watch it closely. Dow's down 74.
At Lidl, we're big on those little reasons to be jolly, like our delicious Favorina all butter mini Stollen bites for just $1.99 and 6 deluxe mince pies for just $1.35. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price.
Subject to availability, selected stores excludes NI.
On 3, our unlimited data is actually unlimited, like 4 reels. That means you can scroll and scroll and scroll through all the Black Friday deals.
Because we have no speed limits, no data caps, and you'll be 5G ready at no extra cost.
Wow, so many savings.
Our Black Friday deals are now on. Save up to £480. Switch to 3, in-store or online. See 3.co.uk/unlimited-data. Savings on selected phones on 24-month contracts. Ends 5th of December. Terms apply.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Going, gone.
Some things just don't hang around, like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status, phase policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
Financials leading the market in the past 3 months, and there could be one stock to play catch-up. Find out more on tradingnation.cnbc.com. More Squawk on the Street is coming up.
Okay. This is the Survivalist Network. I told you it was coming. London is now in the full throes of a zombie outbreak. If you do not have an impregnable vehicle, you can still access a Toyota Hilux Invincible. Pre-contagion, it was £199 per month with 0% APR representative. For the good of future generations, friends at your local Toyota Hilux Centre are maintaining that deal. Heed, hurry, call. You'll be fine.
0% APR representative on new sales of Hilux Invincible over 42 months. £199 per month. Customer deposit of £9,701 when financed through Access Toyota by 16th of December 2019. £12,525 optional final payment. Subject to status to over 18s. Indemnities may be required. Conditions apply. Toyota Financial Services.
Into the end zone, touchdown! NFL fans, hear every live game on TuneIn Premium.
He runs inside, he's got a 10, 5, touchdown!
This Thursday, hear the home and away call as the Indianapolis Colts visit the Houston Texans at 8:20 p.m. Eastern.
Firing, caught, 10, 5, touchdown!
At home or on the go, hear the home and away call of every NFL game this season on TuneIn Premium. Upgrade today.
Let's get over to the CME Group in Chicago and Rick Santelli with the Santelli Exchange. Hi, Rick.
Good morning, and thank you. I'd like to welcome my guest, Peter Chur, Academy Securities. Peter, thank you for joining me. Let's get right into it. You have arrived at the intersection that many have, that phase one, in essence, is a truce. I don't disagree. Why don't you explain why you believe that is the case, and how will that truce affect further negotiations on more difficult issues?
That sounds great. I think the reality is we're not going to get a true phase one deal. It's delayed too long. There's too many contentious issues. And quite frankly, I don't think the president wants a big deal until end of Q1 or early Q2. So we will get something that we're calling a trade truce. We'll have some commodity buying, some things that China really needs. I think it'll be a little bit blah, not as good as the markets would like, but that should be enough for now.
All right, let's move from checkers to chess, shall we? Okay, let's make some assumptions. Let's say we get a trade truce, there's no additional tariffs placed, and this president wins re-election 1 year from now. Then wouldn't that truce be a strategic error by the Chinese? I can't imagine how this president will negotiate without the issue of a re-election in front of him.
I think it would get very sloppy at that point. Though on the other hand, that gives our companies a full year to prepare. I think we're already seeing companies make sure that they have backup plans for China. I think we're going to have less business going on with China going forward, regardless of what's going on. And it also keeps the pressure on China to be good about Hong Kong, right? China has actually shown some restraint lately in Hong Kong. We don't want that to escalate. So I think having some, pressure put on China is not a bad thing for the globe either.
Now, as we move across the globe and think about issues like this and how they affect the big elephant in the room, and that is capital spending, I look towards Christine Lagarde beginning her term at the ECB And everybody, including us, believe that her big thing is going to be to extract some fiscal stimulus, especially from Germany. How long do you think something like that is going to take? I think the markets are a bit impatient.
You know, I don't see something like that happening for 6 months, maybe out to a year, but I think she'll show some progress within the first few months. We'll get a real sign whether Germany's willing to back down, whether France is really willing to support that, because I think they've done, quite frankly, more than enough on monetary policy. I hate the idea of negative interest rates. The QE is problematic. I think they've got to just wean themselves off of monetary policy, focus on fiscal stimulus. I think she has more support than people realize, and I think the market doesn't need a deal. They just need to see signs that Europe will come to the table, and Germany in particular will relent and let fiscal stimulus proceed.
You know, Peter, I had Johnny Fine from Goldman on last week, and we were discussing triple Bs and how large they are, and if there's any credit deterioration, we could see some big moves as triple Bs move to junk. But my question to you is, that certainly doesn't seem to happen, even though junk spreads based on Barclays aren't doing as good investment grade. They both seem really well behaved. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot of money coming into credit. Double B credits are fine. All the triple B credits that were weak that we've been watching have been doing the debt diet. They've been improving their balance sheet. AT&T just announced a tender watch. I think this is going to be a conversation, though, going on for years, because I think we're going to see more and more companies move to triple B. I think they don't need to be single A. You're going to see triple B. So we're going to have lots and lots of opportunity to talk about triple Bs, but I think people get overly concerned. They are good credits. They have lots of levers to pull. They've got good balance sheet. We've seen the weakest companies really do a turnaround, and I think that's important going forward, that we can't get overly concerned about triple Bs and let that wreck our investment thesis.
Excellent. Peter, always interesting to hear your thoughts. Thank you for joining me today. David Faber, back to you.
Thank you, Rick. Now let's send it over to John Ford. He's got a look at what's coming up on Squawk Alley. John.
Hey, David. Well, Qualcomm's top executive leaders are here in town in New York for their first analyst day in about 4 years, making the pitch to Wall Street that all these legal and regulatory hurdles, for the most part, are behind them. It's time to focus on the technology and the growth. But should investors believe it? We're going to have Qualcomm CEO Steve Mollenkopf talk to him about it coming up on Squawk Alley.
I believe ETFs are a great...
I love Black Friday. Busy shops, crazy people, average deals. It's so much fun.
Said no one ever. So be savvy and do Black Friday the easy way with Smarty. Grab a huge 100 gig data SIM for just £17 a month on the Mega Plan. And with no credit checks, speed restrictions or contracts tying you down, you can kick back with the best Black Friday deal around. Now that's Smarty. Search Smarty Mobile to find out more, but hurry, as this deal won't be around for long. See smarty.co.uk for terms.
At Lidl, we're big on those little reasons to be jolly. Like our delicious Favorina all butter mini Stollen bites for just $1.99. And 6 deluxe mince pies for just $1.35. Big on a Christmas you can believe in. Now that's big on quality and always Lidl on price.
Subject to availability, selected stores excludes an eye.
If you're planning on driving this weekend, expect delays on the A406 North Circular Road. There'll be road closures between Tottenham and Edmonton from 10 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November to 5 a.m. on Monday the 25th of November, while we carry out essential maintenance and repairs. All roads in the surrounding area will be extremely busy, so please allow more time for your journey and expect delays in the area. Plan ahead and check alternative routes at tfl.gov.uk. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Going, gone.
Some things just don't hang around. Like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status, phase policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
Mate, this fan's suspension is rubbish.
Tell me about it.
Even the radio's had it.
I know, but I'd get nothing if I scrapped it.
Actually, you can get at least £2,000 off a new Ford for it.
You're kidding?
With Ford's new for old scrappage scheme, you can get between £2,000 and £6,250 off a new Ford van if you scrap an eligible vehicle with us responsibly. Also, there's 0% APR representative on Ford Acquire. Ford Commercial Vehicles, backbone of Britain. Search Ford Scrappage. Exclusions apply. Contract and registered by 31st of December 2019 at participating dealers. Agent ownership criteria apply to scrappage vehicle. Subject to status. Free post full credit. Deposit restrictions apply.
From ESPN and the award-winning producers of The Sterling Affairs comes the latest season of 30 for 30 podcasts. 4 brand new stories of espionage.
He wanted this team to be the Barcelona of women's basketball.
Resilience.
I started to scream. I tried to get away.
Corruption.
It's the culture of win at all costs.
And rebirth.
How will we ever rebuild it?
30 for 30 Podcasts, Season 6. Listen now to 30 for 30 Podcasts on TuneIn.
Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. I'm Rahel Solomon. It is yet another day of record highs for the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ Composite. All 3 indices there set new intraday highs at the open, but they've been sliding since then. Healthcare, tech, and financials are the leaders, while consumer discretionaries are taking a big hit from retailers and also those disappointing results from Home Depot and Kohl's this morning. Another sector under pressure is energy. Crude oil is down strongly for now a second day, taking energy stocks along for the ride. You can see WTI crude right now down about 2%, 2.2% there. So both refiners and producers getting hit. And among the biggest laggards are HollyFrontier, Cimarex Energy, and Occidental Petroleum, all of which now are down. HollyFrontier down 3%, almost 4%. Cimarex down 3.4%, and Occidental down 3%. Now, let's send it back downtown to you guys. Carl.
Thanks, Rahel. Yeah, oil's not helping out today. Dow down 107. Meantime, billionaire activist investor Carl Icahn urging the SEC to rethink its proposed rule change for proxy advisors. He wrote an op-ed in the Journal, says, while I have the utmost respect for the laudable work the SEC has done over many decades, I believe the current proposal is a dangerous misstep that will